Join me today, geeks, as we build a modern desert house. The amazing Ragnarok map is about to get a big update to its desert, so with that in mind, I wanted to bring you some desert architecture painted in sky blue and cantaloupe. Join me for this modern desert house build. What is going on, geeks? UniteTheClans here, back in life with another Ark building tutorial, and we are here in the deserts of Ragnarok. Ragnarok is about to get a desert update, and I thought it was fitting for me to do a desert build. It's been a long time since I did a modern house, so we are going to do the modern desert house you saw in the introduction. We did 2 tutorials last week, and it seemed to be something you guys really enjoy. You found something very valuable when you watched those. The like button. I think one of them is at 400 likes, the other is at 200. So if you find yourself enjoying today's tutorial or building this design, go ahead and click the like button for me. And we are going to get started, guys. So step 1 is Adobe Foundations, and the base for this thing is going to be quite large. So I'm going to work on setting myself up with a little spot that looks flat enough. I've chosen a desert location here. Let's go ahead and do this for people. Chosen a desert location here on Ragnarok at 6286. This is beyond the work in progress border, inaccessible to you if you can't pass through there, and it is close to the only area of the desert that has been landscaped, that little oasis there with all those trees. We're also close to the amazing looking ocean, and we're here on the Geeks Patreon Ragnarok server. So this one is our extinction server, and it is a creative building server. So in 4 days the server goes boom. I don't see any giant meteors in the sky, but I'll keep my eyes open. But yeah, the idea for this is creative building for our Patreon supporters. So everyone here is an admin, everyone can spawn in materials, and everyone can build like this to your heart's content. So we're going to be starting with Adobe Foundations, and I think I've found our spot. We're going to find out in a second. We are going to do a 5x3, and we're going to attach a 4x3 to it. Like so. Okay, and we are going to be adding foundations later around here as a front porch, but for now we're going to leave it as is, and we're actually going to be doing something I haven't done since Log Cabin 2, but when I did it, it was very popular. I have a paint scheme in mind for this build, guys, but I want to get to the finished product with you, and I want to show you the paint scheme because it is a little less than simple. So for all of your Adobe Foundations, region 1 and 6, get sky blue, and regions 2, 3, 4, and 5 get silver. So the silver applies to this little section here. Sky blue applies to all the Adobe, and that is the color you are going to want for your foundations. I got 3 of them here in this little test setup. This is an idea I stole from Minecrafters. When I played Minecraft, you would lay out sort of potential materials you planned on using in your builds, and it's useful in Ark too because it lets you see how certain paints interact with things. For example, the paints that we're putting on the windows here does not look the same as paint you would put on metal. So they just don't show up the same. So it's important to get the differences right. But that is step 1. Get these foundations in and get them in that shape. And we're going to come back in a second with some greenhouse walls. Alright guys, so we are now using greenhouse walls. It is going to be up to you exactly how you choose to lay these out in your build. You will have plenty of metal walls that could easily be replaced with these greenhouse ones. But for us, I think we have a plan. I think I know what I'm doing. We will see. I am going to put them on the corners here, like so. And I'll show you what I've done here in a second, just so that you can get used to it. But, okay, so on the front corner, I have done 3 high on both sides. And on the opposite corner of this first foundation, I've done 1 high on the corner. Now over here, I have gone to this back corner. 3 high on that side, 2 high here, and 3 high here. So I'm just getting these window frames in first so that you guys will have the opportunity to see where they all go without the metal walls getting in the way. And I will show you the paint scheme for the windows. It's going to be very, very simple. You are going to want, this is for my version, you are going to want Cantaloupe paint, and you are going to paint, I think it's just region 2 is the only one that matters on a window frame, and you're going to get that bright orange color. That is the goal. Window frames done. Let's go grab some metal walls. All right, geeks. So we are coming to the metal walls, and I've also got metal door frames. Oh shoot, this is why you bring extras. But I have also got metal walls, and so that's one metal wall and window frame or greenhouse glass messed up. But the metal walls, you are going to build a sloped section like that. If you want right now, you can also grab the sloped metal wall bits. And you're going to grab the sloped wall left, and we're going to go build up like that, and that is the beginning of the shape of this building. While we're here, guys, we are going to take the metal walls here across the back. Now, at any point in here, you could be doing window frames, door frames, or you could be adding in more greenhouse glass. This is an element of the build that I am leaving in your hands, guys. And we're going to mimic the shape that we have on the other side, but we're going to be doing it in metal. So now we're going to grab the slope wall right, and we are going to do that shape. So you can see this beginning to come together. I guess we'll need a metal wall right there, and we're going to go fill in this space here like so. And then down here is one of the spots I'm going to be putting a door frame. I chose to put a window on top, and then we'll go metal walls up. Now, what we're going to be doing over here is a little bit different. So you're going to grab your slope wall right, and that is the extent of the second section. It is going to sit much lower. So we're going to build up like that, and that is the shape for it. So we can head over to this side and do that. Alright guys, so this is coming together. You are going to be able to fill in basically the spaces around. You're going to be building up one wall high on the back of this one, excuse me, not two, and you're going to be building 2 walls high on the back of that one, and you just build until they meet in the middle. And actually what we're going to do is a door frame. Right there, we're going to do another window frame on top, and we're going to cap this off with walls. Now, interestingly, that is where this one would stop. The roof is going to come down like this. We are going to have a level of wooden ceilings at a certain height here. I think, if my memory serves, is going to be here. Yes, it is. And we're actually going to do a door frame right there to go with it. So I'm skipping a step ahead with these wooden ceilings just so that we can get them, excuse me, make them all face the same way, just so we can get them all in. And then over here, we are going to be able to finish off this like this. And we're going to be building up like so. Now, if you wanted to, and this isn't an entirely artificial step, or an unnecessary step, but you see that? That is because this is snapped to this foundation, and that is snapped over there. If you wanted to, you could simply double up the walls like this and avoid that little issue. And you're only going to want to go, oops. So it does get a little tricky to do. With that in mind, let's go ahead, and you might want to use thatch for this segment of it, but I'm going to attempt. Yep, and there we go. So we'll take those out, and now this room is complete. All it needs is a sloped roof to follow that angle. You should be able to see all the details as you're inside here. And if we come over to this side, all this currently requires is a sloped roof. We are also going to figure out that wooden ceiling, but we'll come back to that in just a second, guys. I'm going to take you over here, and we are going to show you the paint that goes on the metal pieces, and it's going to be the same for all the metal pieces. So you are going to want region 1, region 6, I believe that's right, and you're going to paint all the bits of metal, every single bit of metal you have got, paint like so. And I'm going to come over here and do the same. All right, so that has shown you everything we have built up till this point. So we still have to figure out this little bit. This is going to be a railing. We still have to put in greenhouse windows and doors. We'll do that next, and then we're going to come back and do a sloped roof. I think we've made a lot of progress for this first chunk of the video, guys. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So why don't we go ahead and take a break? I will be right back in your life. Alright geeks, let's go ahead and slap in these windows and doors. These are going to be giving us some of the complementary details that we need to finish up here before we can move on. So let's go ahead and get you in and get you in. Now windows and doors are going to get, is that all of them? I believe so. It does appear to be all of them. Okay, perfect. So windows and doors are going to get the same treatment as the greenhouse glass. Now, because they are also greenhouse glass, they're going to show this off well. You only want to select, I think, region 1 and 2 will work. And that will leave a little bit of details. And if you wanted to, this is almost totally unnecessary because it won't stand out much. But if you want, you can get region 3, 4, 5, and 6 and go ahead and paint that on the other bits. And that will just lighten up the little bits of trim. And I don't think there is any trim to a tiny little bit. These little screws can change color, but that is that for now, guys. I think that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and get a roof on this thing. Actually, you know what? If you guys are building this for yourselves, before you get the roof on, you are probably going to want to build this upper level. And the reason for that is so that you can reach these upper roofs. I, of course, am building in creative. I can fly. I should think about the order you guys will be building things in. So what you can do, actually, let's take that one out. You can come across like this. You could certainly, excuse me, be careful when you get to the wall ends here and try and keep everything lined up. Otherwise, it might affect your OCD like it does mine. You could certainly stop here, guys, and if you wanted to, I'm not going to include this in the design, but I thought I would grab it for you. You could come across like this with metal or wooden railings, and we are going to be placing in our wooden staircase. So the best way with the staircase, you want to look at where you want to be stepping onto the first step from. So I want to be stepping on the first step from here. This is going to allow me to come up here, but instead of doing what we've done there, I think what I'm going to do is just take this all the way across. All the way across. So I'm going to remove these railings for you guys, and I will show you the little bit of paint we are going to do on the wood for this place. And this is the only wood. Everything you've placed right here, assuming that you build your second floor like I did, is the only wood you're going to end up placing. Now, the one exception you can make to that, once again, is a choice you can make. There's a reason I put a door up there, and it's because you could do a railing. And you could honestly have a railing that comes out all the way around like so, if you wanted to. I do not plan on doing that. If you're building in vanilla, it's actually really easy to place things on a kitty corner, like, not kitty corner, on like that. So you could have a super narrow little balcony if you so chose. Let's go ahead and do that. Except the only problem is it would clip in over there. But you have lots and lots of options, guys, for if you want to continue this. You would have to stop there. That would mess up your staircase. But you could certainly rail that off. I think it's just narrow enough that you can walk around it. So there's plenty of options for you guys. Let's go ahead and get rid of those. For us, this is all we're going to be doing for wood. And we're going to want the same silver paint, and we're going to be painting all 6 regions. And this is going to be the case for the ceilings and for the staircase. So this is just going to make it stand out as looking almost white on the inside. And that's it. So all we have left is some detail bits, our front porches and our Adobe roofs and greenhouse roofs. All right, and it is time to begin placing a roof. Now, because this is a modern desert house, we are going to be using the Adobe. Now, the Adobe roof is one of my favorite building pieces in this game. You can use it to do a Roman-style villa. You can use it to make a sort of a cabin roof. It looks shingled. It gives you a lot of options, and it takes paint fairly well. Colors that match the terracotta underneath certainly seem to work better. When you choose light colors, it tends not to work out as well for you. So with that in mind, I had originally thought about doing sky on the roof, but that is a strange and drastic color change. So instead, I think what we're going to do is that. It actually blends in pretty well. But before we get there, guys, we're actually going to leave these 2 middle spots out, and they put this away, and they are going to get a skylight, a greenhouse roof skylight. And we are going to be doing roughly the same thing over here, but this build is a little bit, this side of the house is actually 5 long instead of 4. So we're going to have a space for a bigger skylight. But we're going to do what we did last time. We're going to build all the way across the top. I like to build in from both sides so that nothing gets too out of whack. Do that, and put one in the middle, and then greenhouse glass, like so. Okay, so this build has come together pretty well, guys. It has front porches that it requires, but the actual structure of the build is done, and yet unpainted. So I'm going to show you, I gave you a quick preview, but I'm going to show you the paint scheme for the greenhouse glass and for the Adobe. So for the greenhouse glass, we have done on the main structure, we have done the greenhouse glass in Cantaloupe and the walls in Sky. Because the roof is going to be Cantaloupe, we're going to do the skylights and it's region 2, and we're going to do that in sky blue. And then right next to there, guys, you are going to want your other 2 paint colors. So region 1, region 5, and region 6. So that is the top sort of clay, the bottom clay, and then the metal trim, or the wood trim that goes in a square around the bottom of this. So those are the regions we just painted. That leaves 2, 3, and 4. And what those are all the little nubs that stick out. So 2, 3, and 4, like so, are these little nubs and these little sticky nubs that stick out. So you're going to paint those. That's going to add a tiny bit more color and a bit more inclusion to this place. And all that we have left to do is to build a front porch. A front porch and a back porch. If you are not painting this, guys, I would totally recommend using a metal railing just to make this little front porch section work. For me, it doesn't work because the metal railing does not take paint the same way as the greenhouse stuff. So it didn't quite look right. It always looked too dark. So what we've done instead, ideally, is invent a totally different system. So 5 foundations right here, and we're going to use fence foundations to place not on the foundation like you typically would, but just in front of it on the ground. Now, I don't know if this is going to be on the other one. So on the other one, everything was at that height, and that was just about perfect. These are going to get progressively taller here, so it's probably not going to look quite as good, and they're not quite as level. But could you imagine that as sort of your railing? I don't know. I hope so. You cannot do greenhouse glass straight onto one of those fence foundations, so I did a greenhouse door wall combo thing. And I think what we're going to do, hide a pillar at one end, a pillar at the other end, and then we're going to grab our ramps as well. So with the ramp, you're going to ramp down like so. Ramp down like so, and that is that for this side. All right, and welcome to this back corner of the house. We're going to attempt another quick balcony. So on this end, and I've adjusted my gamma down, which I never have to do, but in this desert you do have to. So one thing I'm thinking, guys, is we can... Right, so that is how I started, guys. I started by just doing a foundation down there in order to get the pillar at a better height. So once I was able to do that, I started playing around with other ideas because I didn't like the metal railings. I'm wondering if an opportunity was missed, not just doing a simple wooden railing. I don't know. That feels too low tech for this particular house. I don't know. And so what I ended up doing instead was this. With the door in between, and I think I like that. Maybe a combo of the two would work. Indeed it might. Okay, let me try that. Alright guys, so I think that does it for these. I'm going to show you the paint scheme for these railing little bits for our front porch, for the ramps, etc., and then I'm going to disappear and paint this beauty of a house. It is more or less done. I'm impressed. So for the paint scheme, this part is actually fairly important, and let's come back here. Let's mimic what we did on the other side, and we will take a railing and snap it to the inside here to back up against those. Adds some stability, adds a stable sort of horizontal line running across there, even if these are not totally on a stable horizontal line. So that would mean we need to put in a pillar like so, and we would need, because I hadn't planned on this, and we would need a railing in behind. Okay, so how do we paint these bits? Alright geeks, I think I am ready to make a few changes to the plans here. So I just showed you doing this all in white, doing it all in orange, but the final answer is actually a combination of both. So what we are going to do, let's spin this around. Obviously we have sky on the clay bits, we have orange everywhere where the wood is. I'm actually going to do these horizontal bits, number 2 and number 3, in white. So that is a theme we're going to carry over. These are vertical, we're going to keep them orange. Over here on the door, the vertical bits will stay orange, but the horizontal bits here, number 2, are going to go white. Like so. Yeah, that is the way to do it. And then what we're actually going to do is tweak our foundation paint scheme a little bit to go along with this. Region 3 is orange, that is vertical. So horizontal bits in white, vertical bits in orange, and that's how we're going to do the Adobe. That is how it looks, and we're going to use that color scheme to paint the entire house. I also forgot, we're going to go ahead and do this. We'll paint this railing. We're going to paint it completely in orange. You could do something a little different, but I think that is the way I want to go. And so there you go, guys. That is it. I have taken you step by step through the painting process, taken you step by step through the build, and this is the unpainted version. All that's left for me now is to paint it, but I wanted to show you this version. There are always people who like the naked, vanilla, unpainted version better, but I am going to slap some paint on it for the rest of you, and I'll be back in your life in a minute. If you guys enjoy this, if you like my tutorials, you especially like this one, find a way to share it. Take the link and give it to a friend. That would make my day. Let me go do some painting, guys, and I will be back in your life in just a minute. Back in your life from the deserts of Ragnarok, geeks. This house is complete. Let's take a look at the glory of what we have created today. I have to admit, I am happy with that. There's the new color scheme on the front. Little bits of vertical orange on the foundations and on this front porch bit that we designed, and horizontal white lines running across here for these Adobe door frames. The whole house looks great, guys. It has a very modern look and feel, as you can see from this angle, and it fits right in the desert. It looks great in the background. The color scheme works for me, and I'm glad I got to do a build where I combine Adobe and metal. I don't think I've ever done that before, and not with this amount of detail. So that does it, guys, on this desert house, this modern house. If you're brand new to this channel, my face is popping up on the screen. Go ahead and click on it if you would like to subscribe. And if you are brand new, there is a playlist of the other 19 or 20 Ark building tutorials I have done. Dive into that, binge watch, make yourself a fan, and if you already are a fan, thank you for joining me yet again here on this channel for another building tutorial. All I'm going to ask you guys, if you build this or any of my other builds in your world, tweet at me, at UniteTheClans. I want to see it. I want to see your creations, and I want to see what you do with it. Thank you for watching, geeks. I'm UTC, and I will see you in the next Ark building tutorial.